All right, welcome to my overview of RustClaw, my customized version of OpenClaw. What is OpenClaw for the uninitiated? That is an agent for AI that basically functions as a harness to enable your AI model to enable it to have many more capabilities. And so we're kind of going to go over that as we're in the era of agents now. And so what you're looking at on screen is this is a debug version of RustClaw. And since then, the graphical user interface has been expanded with tabs and some notable differences. We don't use Docker because we're not running AI models through the cloud or API. So we've gone away from that in the most latest version. This represents a crossroads where we could continue. We could still facilitate both local and online AI agents that could work for me. But since I'm not going to be using this for online, I've actually specialized. So now what you're looking at is just an example of what the status scenes looks like. So essentially right now, you could think about this a little bit reimagined. I don't have up to date images, but we have a lot more sophistication here. Like I was suggesting, we have tabs. This is good. So we have. So let me just finish this. Okay. So we have event log. So there's logging going on, and that has its own page, as that's the last page, logging events and things, what's going on. The first page is a visualizer for what the AI is doing. And so we see what the AI is thinking about or working on, messages and things like this. So that's kind of the new approach for my computer screen to be sitting at that screen so that I can kind of understand a few things at a glance. One of the things I had during testing, our internet went down for half a day, which is terrible. So what I want to see is RustClaw program ready with all its things, like its database and all this stuff. And so that represents one, light. And you see that it says running at the top. So the other lights we're going to have is, do we have internet connectivity, which is very important for the communication of the AI, which we're going to get into. Now, and then finally, are we running AI inference? So as we're running a local AI model, let me just reveal to you what AI model is in play on my system. I'm using a RTX 4090 NVIDIA graphics card, and as fate would have it, we have a 27 billion parameter Qwen 3.6 model that's quantized. Just the first quantization is like a 8 int 8, which is a very subtle quantization. This is a very common one that's used even sometimes for providers offering um, the latest and greatest frontier open source models and things like that. And so what this simply means is that our AI maintains and keeps its intelligence without degradation very much at all. It's very negligible is how the way that we would say it to explain it. So that's great. So we have a really good model. Now, I'm sorry, yeah, this video is going to be long because there's always different points and things to explain and things for me to show you. I think the next best thing to show is, how do I talk to my AI? So although there's a graphical user interface, that's great for the screen and we could see stuff happening there. But what do I see? Well, what I see is on my smartphone, whenever I'm home or when I'm out and about, I can remotely through the internet talk to my AI agent. So that's what you're seeing on your screen right now. So that's for the purpose of having a visual, something interesting visually. But like I was explaining, this is going to be a lot of different things talking about. So this is basically me kind of thinking about, well, what's important about OpenClaw platform. And since this information is open source, of course, I can use the code for my personal system for the AI to work for me and for it to function as an agent locally. So this is perfect for me. Um, and so I talked to my AI, and this, in fact, is one of the early messages of my AI. For those of you who've been following me for a long time, my AI assistant is called Amy, and you see that at the top, Amy. Um, some interesting notes. Many people have experienced the ease of setting up a Telegram bot. Um, Apparently, you just the way that it's done according to instructions, it's just talking to like the bot manager on Telegram, which is like bot father. Um, and you just register and create your bot so that you can use it to have it creates a name for your bot, which it made Amy bot, as you can see. And then I can use that code to be able to plug it into my system and be able to send and receive messages. And it was so simple and so easy. It was kind of shocking and delightful. I was happy to accomplish that very quickly and move on. Discord is the one that I really have largely disliked. I've used multiple free services to make bots. At the end of the day, I make them work. Yes, once you make them work, then it's kind of set it and forget it. But I feel like it's been a headache, and when it should be streamlined, easy. But anyway, I'm not gonna go too long into that. It's just that Discord has been so popular and convenient because I'm already talking to a bunch of people. Why don't I just talk to my AI through there? But that's not happening now. Of course, it's completely possible to do this with Discord, but like I'm saying, currently I'm strongly suggesting just do it through Telegram. Even if you just use Telegram just to talk to your AI. Seems fine to me. So, what did Amy say? My AI said, I'm the local AI inside your RustClaw. Okay, it's inside RustClaw. So, so, so our AI is aware of its environment, so to speak. What is it sitting in? What is it able to work on? What levers does it have access to? So it goes on to understand the situation. Amy is my desk side assistant for prompts, tasks, and workspace notes. This is a fresh workspace. So I just initialized the system and I asked the AI check what's going on. And it said that I found that I can access my remote folder. I have a computer folder. And so that's the way that this works. My AI has a group, which is a dedicated file space. And this is a sandbox where code and text and anything, any kind of files, images, whatever, can be written to and saved and created in there. And so this is the workspace that the AI is given. And I can peek in there and see the status of it at any time that I want. So I could kind of see the progress of files being created and their, correct formulation. In other words, files are created correctly and saved, the right file format and all this kind of stuff. So this is all like thorough computer verification to make sure that the software is working right, like a computer doctor. And so we've seen everything formed well, no malformed files, operating for days. So testing is going very smoothly, and operations are functional. The tools are working, um, and so we've done a lot of testing on. Okay, create a file. Okay, read the file. Okay, rename the file. Okay, delete a file. All these tests. You have to test all the tools, make sure all your code is working, because this is a Rust program and it is custom and customized. So have to make sure it works, and that's the important thing. I'm really happy with the programming language. I feel like it brings everything I need. And of course, I've been working with Rust for a while now, so it's the perfect project has been created here. And so the important thing to realize is that, I talked to Amy, the AI, and I just asked for things. And so, for example, I asked the AI to look up. Let me give you some information. So I started testing, for example, the ability for the AI to do multiple steps. That is, so just to give you a brief evolution of my local system, we started with Amy, a chatbot that had no tools, and it was basically contained as a large language model, mostly for the purpose of AI was early version and incomplete, so we don't know if we can trust the model, and so that we have to do testing and research and things like that, right? So once we kind of got past that early beginnings of the Llama series models and things like that, those were the first open source models and things like that, and so finally the most important milestone to talk about in the evolution and progress of Amy, my personal assistant AI, we went from having a chatbot to having a reasoning model. As everyone knows, AI started without the ability to reason in any significant way because they weren't trained to do that. It was only emergent properties of reasoning, which is a fantastic discussion by its own. But so now we had a formal reasoning where there's a chain of thought. The AI does thinking in a privatized way and segmented way, where thinking happens first and then talking or action happens next. And so this is something that was revolutionary to have as a local AI running on my computer system. Reasoning models were popularized and we were able to access them on all the major frontier companies like OpenAI or Anthropic. So now we had an increase in intelligence due to reasoning, reinforcement learning, chain of thought. And from there, we could immediately jump to giving the AI within some open source software. We had the ability to use Google or DuckDuckGo or whatever to give the ability of the AI to search. So the AI had a tool to be able to do internet searching, and it worked fairly well for informational retrieval, is the way we call it. It definitely reasoned with the information in a quite literal way, but it was not very sophisticated. And a lot more of the focus was on the persona side of things, having delightful conversation with your AI versus your AI doing heavy lifting. And finally, we've upgraded the brain of the AI as we have Qwen 3.6 27B dense. And so what this means is that now we have a model that can do quite a lot more. Why can it do a lot more? Well, it is tested for and performs decently well at agentic things. So tool use is one of those things that agents need to do, and they need to do pretty well. And we test for that now, and we have kind of a known quantity. So I'm finding that the AI model is doing a pretty good job, and pretty good job is really good. So it's doing a really good job at reasoning and then like kind of staying on task and understanding like it's a reasonably complicated system prompt that the AI has because the AI has to kind of keep in mind a lot of things. So the AI is doing that. The AI is keeping in mind its system prompt, the tools it has access to by it referencing its tools. It can see a tool list. I tested it by asking the AI, explain to me what your tools are and what they do, and it did. And so we have all this verification and we have all this real world function where you seem to be talking to someone who knows what's going on. And this is a great mind, like a solid mind, a core of a mind, right? Where it's like, so right now we don't have all this delightful chit chat going on because the AI has to keep a lot of things in mind and do well. The AI has to follow instructions well, stay on task, do its tasks, and kind of plan through things. There's a lot more dependence. We're depending on, and we want reliability for the AI to kind of do multiple step, stay on task, doing all the right things per inference round. So, so the way this works is we have, yeah, I should have switched to this sooner, but So I'm talking to my AI. And so I think that I have basically two modes. One is where I talk to Frontier AI. I could talk to, for example, Codex GPT 5.5. I could go on to Grok 4.3, and I can just do whatever I want to do: coding, building, talking, whatever, research, all this kind of stuff. Um, but during normal operation of my AI, we have RustClaw running, and so it shifts over to me instant messaging, getting feedback through the Telegram app. When when tasks are completed, my AI lets me know by Telegram. So I receive a personal message, a direct message, and it's detailed. And it tells me kind of what's going on. It tells me what files are created or dealt with. It tells me, if I do internet search, it gives me a report on that. It tells me, where we are and where we need to go. And this is another good thing because of those things that I mentioned before. Um, and and there's a couple points on this, but because of those things I mentioned before, the AI is saying like, oh, well, this is the task, and even I committed it to my Scratchpad. And would you like me to start on that task, or do you want to do something else like that? And it's very efficient, a good worker. And we're like, okay, this is great. This is great. Saying all the right things, seems to be doing things pretty well. And then basically, it's about kind of updating everything and logging everything to the point where what so this information, so there's the context history happening, but there's also like I mentioned the Scratchpad, we have memory retention as it's listed here on the page, but what we're really talking about is a bit of a stronger memory, a better memory, not just relying on things um on the simple context memory, which we know it can be compacted or truncated. And so what we're trying to have is memory within its file system, which it looks through and can reference. And so one of the things that I worked on is incorporating a skill for front end design. Um, and so it's important that the AI will think about, do I need to use my skills? So that's where there's some more fine tuning to do, no pun intended. So I need to make sure that the AI executes front end design when it's appropriate as a skill, and we want the AI to kind of check its tasks, so it does a good job of writing down what it should do and how it's going to approach doing it and all this kind of thing, methodology. But we also need to make sure that those things get used. And right now, a lot of the reliance is me saying. So I feel like right now I'd have to say refer to your Scratchpad or refer to your skill or whatever at this time. But this is going to evolve, but I don't know how well that's going to work. So in the meantime, for me to actually do real world work, it's not that big of an ask. I know what the capabilities of my AI are. And so I know how to direct it. I know how to orchestrate it, as we like to say in the AI world. So that's that. And then let me go ahead and show you. What am I showing you now? Let me just jump to. So, so I asked Amy to kind of create a website as a test for, okay, what's the content is kind of speaking to the nature of the intelligence, but the design of the website is also speaking to the nature of the intelligence. And basically, uh, we want to see like, so an important point that I've been trying to get to is that I'm getting more and more confident saying that Qwen 3.6 27B, at least from the one I'm thoroughly testing, is obtaining intelligence heights and performing higher than ChatGPT 4.0. And that's incredible because we know that this is a very small model running locally. This is not a frontier model through the API. And so if I continue getting this high performance, we've kind of finally reached an important point. Now, I've talked about this in the space last night, but we've reached an important point where local AI models with a 4090 or 5090 outperform ChatGPT 4 Omni, and that's really a huge milestone to reach. Now this is a multimodal AI that can look at images and stuff. So I think that there's still more testing to do. And I think that that's like really its own focus to find out to determine how good the AI is at all these different points, all these different things it can do. So I'm gonna kind of just lightly brush on that, but I'm kind of like I said, confidence keeps increasing in my personal opinion and everything that I'm observing. So take that for what it will, what you will. But let's look at the actual page now. Oh, I have two couple things to show you here. But we're looking at the page. Yeah, I have another thing that was created by the AI to show you next. So of course it's powered by Qwen 3.627b running locally on RustClaw. So this is the AI just writing about its nature and then getting to what can I do, what I can do. And so it mentions me, you know, I'm the one who this personal local age AI agent is. It says it respects my privacy. It says it gets things done with real tools and real files, which is all true and correct and perfect. I mean, that's huge. That's epic. That's great. Including coding this website and then just me I can put it right live on a web server. I can view it live in the web browser. So we're like off to the races on this. Who am I? I'm Amy. I built my mic by my creator, and it says my name and says that's my boss. I've evolved with every model upgrade. So situational awareness. Amy knows that Amy's existed as a previous evolution. As you can see, I've evolved with every model upgrade, starting as a virtual secretary and growing into a full-featured agent powered by the RustClaw operating system. We have some details now. This context window is more like 60,000 now, so it's been a very a shift, just a bump on the context window. This is variable, and I can set this. So I can set this in RustClaw and at the LLM level. So we have up to 100 tool calls possible per run. We can set this manually as well. This could be 10, 15, 20, 25, whatever you desire, so that the AI doesn't get in a loop, and the system will say, "Hey, hold on a second." So there's nudging for the AI to kind of make sure it does things correctly and what when it should, but there's also limitations that it can recognize, um, which also keep it, you know, keep it operating smooth operation, I guess you could say. Obviously, privacy is a huge deal for me, as you've known. Well, that's why I would have a private model. Um, but there's other reasons too. So it's fully local, tool driven. So Amy goes on to write, I can read files, write files, search your workspace, browse the web, and search your workspace. That's a new thing that I added according to its tools. We have the ability to read files, and we have the ability to inspect files. So it could, you know, check the code and files. And that seems like it's relevant, and that seems like it's all enough, right? But then, like, I asked the AI, well, what tools should you have that you don't have? And it said, well, the ability to grep or search your code. And I'm like, yeah, you need to search my files to find stuff quickly. So I gave I created a tool for search your workspace. Browse the web. We have the ability to um, read web pages, etc. Right? Building complete projects with its file system, of course, through the tool system. Okay. Durable memory. That's the kind of the key word. Durable memory. I use Scratchpad files to remember context across sessions, plans, notes, and task logs persist, so I never lose track of what matters. So essentially, we're trying to have persistent memory. This is still considered basic, but for this AI, it's very good, and we can always have it reference. For example, I can nudge or prompt the AI, refer to your plans and notes for X thing to do. So that's the important takeaway here. If the AI does ever get confused, which the AI has not gotten confused yet, I have not seen the AI do anything that isn't what I'm asking and desiring and what I would expect, interestingly enough. But if the AI does somehow get a little bit to the side of the road or the rails, I can say, refer to your stuff. So that's where, and then of course the AI will read and understand and then kind of bring it back into context, so to speak. So we should be staying on track very well. Scheduled tasks. Through RustClaw, I could be triggered on schedules, run automated workflows, and keep projects moving even when you're not looking. And so this automation is another feature of RustClaw. I can schedule daily or weekly or whatever I want tasks to run, and it will put the AI to work. So these things can be set while I don't even have to refer to my, messaging remote control, so to speak, remote tasks giving. So we have that capability too, which is fantastic, and that's also another advanced thing. We were not scheduling things. We have the ability to schedule things on Grok, for example, which is a provider on frontier provider. But this is having a sophisticated system, and we could do this locally. So we could trigger something quite sophisticated. Let me just continue going through this, and then I'll get to what the AI built. What I can do right now. Web research. Search the web and fetch public pages. I research topics, check documentation, and bring you up-to-date information. Very good. Amy can audit entire directories, find specific strings, keep things neat. So we can reorganize file stuff just by asking the AI to do so. Another important thing. Content generation, of course. There's all kinds of things Amy can write. Analysis and summaries. Read large files, break them into chunks, produce concise summaries. There's more testing on this, especially large files. That seems really interesting. And I'd kind of be like, okay, well, break this down for me, right? So more testing. There's so many capabilities and things it can do. And I'm trying to just keep it robust but simple. See, and we're getting to like, okay, creating multi-file projects from scratch, which is a huge deal. Not just creating individual files, but multiple file projects, websites, config files, and etc. I structure things cleanly and follow conventions. We already talked about search. The local AI agent ecosystem. What people are building and using right now in the world of local AI agents with tools and file system access. Interestingly, I asked Amy to research what people are doing with OpenClaw and create a section for that. And that's a section that you're looking at right now. So theoretically, we should have some interesting things here. Let's see what's interesting here. So this is actually going out on the internet, researching it, then taking that information and creating according, that fits into this website that was created. So that's pretty cool. And again, that's how I asked it to create a website, put this specific information in the website, and do internet research so that you could put this other information in the website, which is what you're looking at right now. That's pretty damn sophisticated. The local AI agents ecosystem. Coding, code assistance. So code assistance makes sense. dealing with repos and all that kind of stuff. Yes. Let's see about the workflows. Let's see what could be interesting here. RAG powered. Yep. Personal knowledge management. Yeah. We're hopefully getting better than just well, we want AI to do very well with knowledge management and finding information in a knowledge database. Let's go on to system administration DevOps. Okay, local agents can audit servers, generate scripts, automate routine DevOps tasks without sending infrastructure details to the cloud. Okay, multiple agent orchestration. This is something that's happening. Um, Multiple agents. We just had someone talking about that last night in their spaces. Education and tutoring. Personal tutors powered by local models that can read your textbooks, generate practice problems, and adapt to your learning style running on your laptop. Okay. Popular extensions and add-ons. The most sought after capabilities in local AI agent space today. Okay, what are they? Image generation. Yeah. So stable diffusion. You could use AI to generate images. That's cool. Yeah. And so you can do all the things that we're already talking about and generate images. Now, since I don't need to generate images, I like to do that as an artistic endeavor. I'm not concerned about that. Audio and voice again, very interesting and relevant. A lot of people are into audio and voice. And so there is an aspect that's missing. I think that over the last couple years, year and a half, I've been experimenting with a lot of open source AI models for text to voice so that AI can talk to me. And I think that I haven't quite found something that I fell in love with that I want to use on all my stuff, including RustClaw. But if I had to take a pick of a particular interesting AI powered text text generation, I want to say that it's who does this one? I think that the interesting thing is for a small model, I think it's the Kokoro model, which is Hexgrad, I think. That AI is impressive for its size. And a smaller model runs on more hardware and uses less overall resources. So, anyway, kind of got a little bit sidetracked there, but back to where we are. Web scraping and monitoring. Crawl websites, aggregate news. We're going to get to that right now. Keep you informed. Excellent. Vector, database, and memory. Okay, yeah. Talks about databases, API and app integrations. Yeah. So a lot of people want to integrate specific things in. So that's what, agents can do with the systems, the complicated systems, the advanced systems they have. Read CSVs. That's interesting. Analyze data sets. Yeah, there's going to be big models to analyze data sets. Yeah. So, and we realize and think about this. To do the most heavy lifting, we're going to be utilizing API based frontier models that can do amazing, great things because they have all these resources and compute. That's the key thing. My AI is amazing for what it could do with what it is. And again, I have frontier models available through the internet, so I basically have full coverage. Let's see here. If I could build anything, it's interesting. I have never seen this before. These are projects I'd love to create for Boss if given the chance. Each one pushes the boundaries of what a local AI agent can be. I have no idea what AME was going to say. Boss's personal operating system. complete personal operating layer on top of RustClaw, calendar management, email triage, task prioritization, meeting notes, and habit tracking, all running locally with zero cloud dependency. That's pretty awesome. So autonomous research agent, yes. And so deep research is something that is valuable. So what else do we have? Phase 2, self-improving project manager, an agent that reads your project files, tracks progress, identifies bottlenecks. Okay. Builds institutional knowledge in scratchpad files and gets smarter every cycle. Okay. So your AI could theoretically get sharper. That stuff. Voice first local assistant. We just went over voice. Let's see. Decentralized agent network. Now this is phase 3, far term. Local agents running privately on their owner's machine that collaborate on shared projects without a central server. I can coordinate with other agents via encrypted message passing, each keeping its owner's data secure while working toward common goals. Okay, pretty fascinating. Interactive story engine, super creative. A local AI powered interactive fiction and game engine. Game engine. Generate branching narratives, manage game state, create descriptions, and adapt the story in real time to your choices. It's super interesting. Okay. The origin story, how a vision became a working AI agent. I don't know what the heck Amy is writing here. My vision. My creator wanted an AI that wasn't just a chat bot, but a true partner. One that could think, act, remember, and grow alongside him. The name Amy was chosen and the journey began. The evolution. That's true. The evolution. Model upgrades and growth. Each new model release, Amy got smarter, more context, better reasoning, faster response. Pretty accurate. Exactly accurate. What started as a virtual secretary evolved into a full-featured agent. Well, yeah, because you know, agents are just it's a powerful word. It's a descriptor. It's definition. Um, yeah, we have agents and it means something. When we talked about agents a long time ago, it didn't have the weight that it has now. RustClaw, the game changer, giving Amy real tools, all the stuff. No longer just words on a screen, according to her words. I can now truly act on behalf of my boss. Today I run locally on Qwen 3.6. I read files. Okay, all the stuff, all the machine, all private, built with care by me, powered by RustClaw, running on your machine. Made with heart on local machine. Okay. Okay. So that was that, and then I want to show you this one. So let me zoom in here. A little bit of animation on this one. Oh. Okay. Is that showing? Yeah. All right. So I said Super Nintendo theme. So, the gaming thing is where that came from. Although I don't really think this is Super Nintendo. Interesting, purple is a Super Nintendo color. Very interesting. But it does feel off. But it's video gaming, so it's kind of cool in its own right. But anyway, what was the ask? I asked the AI agent, okay, I want you to go and research AI models. And what I want you to do is I want you to start at Meta Spark Muse and then take it up to speed on, anything newer than that. And so that's kind of where so then here's the multi-step and multi-file creation test, right? So Amy went ahead and wrote the hub. Now we're looking at the hub, and we can see in the hub, there's a bunch of items. And each of these items, I asked Amy, create a page so that we can look at these items. So here's Grok 4.3. Does it function here? Let's see. Grok 4.3. That one might have been incomplete. Here's GPT-5. Okay, that one works. And this one done? No. Yeah. So the AI has not completed this task, but it's good enough to show the demo. So like 4 or 5 of them were created, and then I stopped it manually. So that's on me. But at least you can see. So let's just look at what we have here. 7 models, 6 companies, so it's keeping tally. It's talking about this year, 2026, and then we have something interesting, Grok 4.3 from XAI. It even says Elon Musk. Cool. Get a handle on what at a glance. So I think that this is a particularly good at a glance. It says the date of the model release, which is pretty cool. As we see, it's very fresh, May 5th, and then today's the 9th. XAI's latest Grok variant optimized for agentic tool calling with aggressively low API pricing, best in class for autonomous multi-step workflows. And then there's like this little button when you click on it. Sorry, let's go to GPT-5 as an example of a page that's built that matches. So not only was the hub created, but like I said, 4 or 5 of the sub pages were created. This is a page that's linked. So the page is created and the page was linked all agentically, and it didn't make a mistake. So the important thing is, you have to realize that. So the AI has to plan to do this, right? You have to. How do you get this accomplished? Now, obviously, any human can eventually figure this out, right? I have to create the hub, okay, and then there's a model. So, but before I create the hub, where's the information from the hub coming from? Well, I have to do my internet research first. So step one was actually internet research. Then it was creating a hub. Then once you have the hub and you theoretically name the file, like GPT-5.5 is the HTML file that you're linking to. So you have to create that file and the link has to match the file that you create so that these links work, just like you're seeing. When I clicked on GPT-5, it took me in here. So the AI is doing a phenomenal job, and that task is deceptively easy sounding, but the AI is actually doing quite a sophisticated thing with multiple steps and not making mistakes. Just truly amazing. And so that's why if I can get out and so far enough and say it's better than GPT 4.0. If the AI makes less mistakes, that's a trait that's better than 4.0. 4.0 did make mistakes sometimes, based on from my recollection. But anyway, um, so we're looking at the Spud model. What is it? OpenAI's most capable model, which is true as they market it and as they always say, it's the latest and greatest release. Um, multi-step computer tasks with minimal human direction, which again is the agent aspect at its current thing, and this taps into codecs and other things that can be done as they demonstrate. It scores very highly on AA Intelligence Index 4.0, making it the highest ranking model globally. Very cool. Available through their app, codecs, and the API, and then specs. Term Bench 2.0, 82.7%. That number is very prominent there. Computer use supported. Math, it does well, according to them. Information here. Power rating, this is cool at a glance. Just look at its intelligence. Coding, it does pretty well. Math, it's not bad. And that's that. So now you've seen kind of like everything. And yeah, basically, I tried to cover this as well as I could. It's kind of difficult producing this video. I couldn't really figure out a way to do a very focused video without an excessive amount of planning and editing. And so you'll have to forgive me for the long video, super long video. That finishes and wraps up this long video. If anybody made it to the end, hugely appreciate it. Please hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed for all my AI and fun stuff. And I'll return with more AI videos as I do. And yeah, this is the current state of my local model as this video was requested. It is being delivered. Um, you can't say I never do anything for you. So that's an overview of my system, my AI. I have a lot more stuff to do. And so basically at this point, the testing is like whatever I want to do, I test. And if something doesn't work, that will be an interesting thing to note, because the fact of the matter is, like, everything I'm trying to do, just because I can kind of know what the capabilities of the AI are and how to prompt it, I'm having very good success. Not that might be a determining factor for somebody who is not that as good at me at prompting. The AI may take more clarification. You might have to talking to it more. But the kind of cool thing, again, like, this is for everyone, because all you have to do is talk to the AI. No, that's not right. That's not right. And sometimes we have to do that with any AI, right? We have to just straighten it out, say, no, 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 let me clarify. No, this is how I want it done. Oh, you made a little mistake with this. Please, let's redo that, or do it this way, or create also this as well, a variation on it or something like that. So that's what I have to say about that. I think that, there's a little bit more efficiency, a little bit less efficiency, but the bottom line is the AI is delivering us intelligence, building stuff for us, working for us. AI agent era is here, as you can see. Thank you for watching. Catch you on the next one.